Hi everybody. Welcome to our first ever virtual open house and meet the teacher. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Beth Hallman and I'm the director at Farragut Presbyterian Church Children's Enrichment Program. Normally at this time we would be sitting in a large room and I would be talking to you in person, but unfortunately in these strange times we're going to have to do this video instead, and I apologize because I normally would love, parent interaction, but if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. So first of all, we'll be arriving in the morning, and that will be a very different process than we have done in the past. Right now, the rules are requiring us to meet in the parking lot, and we will be taking your children's temperature. After we take your child's temperature, you will be bringing them to a table for them to sign in, or you to sign in, by the way, you to sign in, and then we will accompany your child inside the building. This is going to be a process that we will tweak as necessary, so please be patient with us because we are learning it too for the first time. Once your child comes inside, they will always be accompanied by one of our teachers, but they will wash their hands and then they will enter the classroom. This is to keep everyone healthy and safe. Also during the day, we will be taking temperatures 2 more times, once mid-morning and once in the afternoon. This is once again to keep everyone safe. We will also be doing extra cleaning and sanitizing of the classrooms and the common areas during the day, and we will also be cleaning and sanitizing the playground in between groups. When we can't use the playground, we will go to the fellowship hall, which we lovingly call the big room, and we will be doing cleaning and sanitizing between groups there also. As I said, this is going to be a very different day for all of us, but if we work together, I think it will be okay. And hopefully at some point we can return to the way we've always done our procedures and how we normally do. I do feel bad at this point that you are not coming into the building, but as I said, as things can change, we will change with it. But with that said, we also welcome parent volunteers to read a story or to do something with the children, perhaps an activity, but it will have to be done outside and we will have to maintain social distancing. So please feel free to, get with the teacher if there's something you're interested in. We want to be interactive as much as possible. So after morning arrival, we will typically have our activities during the day. We will have a snack mid-morning, and our snacks will be pre-packaged, and we will have juice boxes as opposed to sippy cups for now. Now, if your child has a sippy cup that you want us to use, we can do that, but we will have to put the juice into the sippy cup. We are trying to avoid as much as possible bringing things from home that is going back home, to limit the number of extra germs in our center. So if there's something you can leave here, we would love for you to leave it here. And we'll discuss that more in detail in our parent letter. Most of you should have received the policies and procedures in the mail with your back to school packet. If you haven't, I have plenty of extra copies, and it's also available on our website, which is fpctn.org, and there's a link to CEP. There is also information on our Facebook page. So after our snack, we will continue our daily activities. Everybody will have their own art materials, and anything that we're using will be self-contained in the classroom. So we're trying to keep from having to share any materials, once again, to try and keep everybody safe. Everybody will be doing diligent hand washing during the day, and we will be using hand sanitizer for the older classes when appropriate. So with all that said, we will go outside at least once a day. The playground will be cleaned and sanitized, and we normally bring things to the playground, extra toys and accessories to use. Each class will have their own, once again, to try and keep the minimum of mixing of germs out of our basic playground and classroom areas. Also, as far as lunches go, we would prefer that you could send your child with a sack lunch, only because, once again, we're trying to keep things that are coming from home into our classroom area. Now, I know with the younger children that might or might not be a possibility, but lunch boxes will be kept in the hallway, and anything that your child will eat will be taken out of the lunchbox and served on a plate before it comes into the classroom. As I said, all of this is new to us also, and our main goal is to try and keep everyone healthy and safe. My biggest concern is that, if we do perchance get a confirmed case of COVID-19, we will have to close, we will have to sanitize, and then you will be directed how long you have to stay home for quarantine before you can return. So all of this, the extra stuff that we're doing, is based on keeping everyone safe. We will also be asking some questions when you arrive, things like, has your child had a fever in the night? Have you taken any medicine with your child? Has your child taken any medicine? Have they been exposed to anyone who was ill? And all of that, once again, is to try and keep everyone safe, because our goal is to stay open and not have to close and quarantine. Our handbook, most of you have received if you visited before we closed in March. It is also available on the website, and it normally has all our policies and procedures in it for you to refer to. At this time, we are redeveloping our handbook to reflect our COVID changes, and then once we are no longer doing those, we will let you know that we're going back to our old handbook. But there's a lot in our old handbook that does not apply right now due to our COVID changes. So when you come back, you will be receiving a packet of information that you need to go over. Some of it you need to sign and return, and it might look a little bit different than what you would normally see go home for those of you that have been with us before. We do need you to return those. We have to keep everything on file for our licensing and for the health department. So anything that goes home, if you could please return it as soon as possible, it would be helpful. As far as our immunization forms, they're required once a year, so I will need a new immunization form at the beginning of the school year. Some of you have already sent me those, and you can email them to me. You can send them via fax, or you can bring them on the first day, but I do need those on file also. We will be doing fire drills just like always, and we'll be practicing those within the first month of school. So if your child comes home and tells you that they heard a sound and they had to go outside, we will regularly practice fire drills. We also will have a few other drills during the school year, like a tornado drill, a flood warning. We have various things that we practice regularly. With that said, we do have several evacuation points that we will have to go to in an emergency, and depending on what the emergency is, depends on how far we evacuate. Our first evacuation point is right next door at Faith Lutheran Church. We would gather everybody together and we would walk to Faith Lutheran. We would stay in a designated area until it was either safe to return to our school, or you would be directed to come get your child. If we go to Faith Lutheran, you'll be notified immediately, but we do need to be sure that if you change your cell phone number or any information is different, we have to be able to reach you, so please be sure we have your updated information. If we have to go further than next door, our second point of evacuation is Concord United Methodist Church. That's on Roan Drive, and for those of you that are familiar with Farragut, it's on Kingston, it's behind Kingston Pike, behind like the Sherwin-Williams store and Sam and Andy. You'll get a letter explaining all this, so the addresses and directions will be on there. But if we have to go that far, we will put your children in our various vehicles and transport them. It's an emergency situation. It has never happened with us, but if it does, we don't worry about car seats or things like that. We just have to get your children and buckle them in safely and remove them from the premises. If that happens, once again, you'll be notified that your child has been evacuated to Concord United Methodist Church. Our third point of evacuation is a little bit further away, and it's in the other direction. It is Christ Covenant Church, which is on Watt Road. I take that back, sorry, which is right near Watt Road on Kingston Pike, and you'll get all this information where you can read it. But if we have to evacuate there, once again, you'll be notified immediately. With that said, we also will have information going home, which is a state requirement about child abuse. We would ask that you sign that you read the paper about child abuse and return it. Everything else we hope to maintain as normal a school day as possible. We will still be responsible for our licensing guidelines, and we will still be having our STARS evaluation as we do every year. This year, some of these things will be virtual, but I will always let you know if something is happening that is different from our school day. Finally, we get to dismissal. At dismissal at the end of the day will be a little bit of a reverse of arrival in the morning. We will watch for you to come pull into the parking lot, and then we will bring your child to you. Once again, you'll have to sign your child out as usual, but we are really trying very hard to keep this building as safe and as free of any kind of germs as possible. I'm available anytime for questions. All of my information you should already have, but please feel free to contact me, either call me or send me an email. The teachers are also available. Each class will set up their own way of communication. Some will have a group text via GroupMe, or they might send you emails. But whatever they are doing, please check those regularly, because that's the best way to find information. Our information is always available also on our Facebook page and on the church website. Once again, this is going to be a very different year, but I am hoping that we all are in this together and we can work it out to the best of our ability, and please be patient with us. Hopefully, as things change, we can go back to a more normal day. And once again, I am so happy that we are able to open and that you have decided to join us, and we're ready to go. Thank you.